Um, what I want to do is I really want to focus on why are we doing these activities? Hi, Pam.
Hi, Nancy.
So, what is the point? And the point is that it's a lot of fun. We get to create art without stress. But more than that is you're learning how to activate your conscious mind. And why is that important? Is that that's the only part of the mind where we can problem solve or change beliefs and perceptions that are inaccurate. And the reason we can do that is my little chart here, that the conscious mind and the subconscious mind work in an either or capacity. So if we can really learn how it feels when we're in the conscious mind and how to get there if we're not there, then what that does is it literally just suspends all of those shoulds and have tos and negative perceptions we acquired when we were young. And in doing that, we actually reduce our stress level in our body, because what happens is if your subconscious mind, the orange one here, has an agenda that is opposite the conscious mind, that you literally just have, a war going on between you. It's like just the push and shove, push and shove. And our culture, now I'm being general here because I'm not aware of all cultures around the globe, but the thing that I'm aware of is that people are expected to move faster, to accomplish more than is realistic. And what I'm trying to do with these classes is help people see that, hey, if you know how to get here in your conscious mind, you don't have to be part of the absolute craziness that's happening on this planet. You can stay away from it. You can sidestep it. It doesn't have to be part of your life. And that means that you get to be your authentic self. Now, I was talking with a colleague earlier this morning, and we were talking about how powerful it is to be in the presence of somebody who is authentic, somebody who knows who they are, knows why they're here, and they just are. There's no celebration, there's no bragging, there's no bling, there's no fireworks. It just is. Just down to earth human person with something to share. So with that in mind, I'm going to have a start. We're going to skip through the activities. We're going to start with just scribble, and then we'll move into the circles and lines. And then the thing I want to do is move into activity number 5. And this is called improv. So but we have to do this kind of little refresher thing to remember, what each of these activities was teaching us and helping us find. Now, if you've done this a lot, add to your exploration. You don't have to follow my instructions. If I'm saying, scribble, with your non-dominant, scribble with your dominant. If you have a sense of something in you a place where you want to dive deeper today, and then go there. And when we get to the sharing, then you can share what you discovered. You pretty much what I'm saying is you do not have to be a robot to what the directions I'm giving. Instead, I want you to get to the point where you are just so enthralled and delighted by who you are. Because if you are, then the frequency that your body puts off is completely different than when you are trying to be the person you were taught to be. You jump ahead just a little bit here. Image number 2 for today. Okay. Hans Jenny, which you can Google, he did some research. It was Dr. Hans Jenny. And what he did was he found that when you change the frequency, the form changes. And that's what we're talking about here, is we're wanting to get down to our core frequency. Some people are born to be megastars or really make a huge difference, like Steve Jobs. And other people, even though it looks like they're not doing anything, that their quiet, authentic frequency is making a difference on this planet, one person at a time. Just being in that place, being in your conscious mind, when you're checking out of the grocery store, you're impacting that checker. You're impacting the person behind you in line and the person in front of you in line, not by anything you're saying, by just being comfortable and at peace with who you are. That's the key. All right. So with that as an introduction, I want you to grab a crayon or a pencil or any writing implement that you feel comfortable with. And I want you to put that we're going to start with the non-dominant hand, just like we've done in previous classes. But today, when you're exploring, remember, you're allowing that hand to make any kind of marks on the paper it wants. Pay attention to how a subtle change can make a huge difference in how you feel in your body. And that's the key, is that when you get to that place of being who you are, then you're in the conscious mind, and just being who you are makes a difference in the world. It's simple, it's easy. There's not a whole lot of hype to it. So close your eyes. You can take 3 deep breaths if you like. You do not have to. And then just explore with your non-dominant hand on what movements feel the best. We're looking for what feels the best, because that's an indicator that we've hit the conscious mind. We've activated. So we're going to do, it doesn't matter if it's circular movement or linear movement. It doesn't matter if you do it slow or you do fast. You're listening to the instruction your body is giving you and showing you the doorway to become whole, showing you the doorway to become whole in who you really are, in all of its magnificence and all of its limitations. Being at peace. When you're finished exploring with that hand, then pass the crayon or the pencil over to your other hand, but don't open your eyes. We don't want to look at what we're doing with our eyes until we've done both hands. So you're going to do the same thing with the second hand, with your dominant hand. And then when you are clear on what movement that hand likes, it can be the same, it can be different. But we're exploring. The act of exploring activates the conscious mind. Finding the movement that gets you to unlock that door and suspend yourself in that place is what you're looking for. You're looking for a code, you're looking for a combination, you're looking for what movement makes it easier for you to be in that authentic part of yourself. When you're clear about that, then just open your eyes and wave your hand or something, and I will continue giving some instructions. But right now, I want you just to explore it yourself. Remember, while you're doing the activity, keep your eyes closed because you do not want your system to decide what you should be doing. You want to discover what it does naturally. Know that what you discover today might be a little different tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening. So it's really is learning how to follow and how to explore and then follow the needs of your system to be able to maintain that connection to your authentic self. So, Stephanie, was it, did you find anything new? Did you reinforce what you've known? How was it?
Yeah, today the non-dominant hand just did lots of little fast circular movements, which is a bit different. And with the dominant hand, it just almost my whole body was just swaying really side to side and up to the edge. Yeah.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Now, could you take these
So,
movements into your life um, to be able to pull yourself back into yourself? You know,
yes.
good, good. I mean, when you said the thing about being pulled from one side to the other, it's like, wow, that could be
Yeah.
really lovely.
Yeah, it felt really nice. It was very soothing. Yeah.
Good.
And it was like relaxing that shoulder. Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Mm.
Pam, I don't hear you. Your audio is off.
Had to turn it off because my dog is barking. Was
Oh, was barking. Okay.
the non-dominant hand did lots of circles
Clockwise or counterclockwise?
clockwise.
Clockwise. Okay.
I mean, lots of them all over the page. And then the dominant hand did circles, big circles in a line horizontally, and then another line of circles horizontally, and then an arrow.
Wow.
Mm.
So how would you interpret that as moving that, it being something that you could use during your day or during times of stress?
I think the life of running around in circles is supposed to slow down and start moving forward in a new direction.
Wow. I like that. That's very good. Okay. So both of you, know how to do the scribbling. You also know how to do the circles and lines. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to jump ahead to activity number 5. And let me hold on a second. Thank you very much. Your patience. Okay, so activity number 5 in the I Create What I Believe program is called improv. And so let's look at, improvisational dance means connecting with the music or connecting with the other dancers and seeing what wants to be born, what wants to come, arise up. Improvisational theater is the actors, once again, they're not coming in a scripted, structured way, but they're rather instead are looking for, the connection, looking for the point, looking for the purpose, looking for that moment where the person in the theater or the dancer connects with the other, and it's about watching, observing, and allowing. So improvisational art is also called automatic drawing. And what it is that you get yourself into that place we just did. You get yourself into the conscious mind. And in that, the deliciousness of that space, you allow your hand to draw whatever it wants. Once again, it could just be scribbles. It could be lines. It could be, something else. It could be something that was, not abstract, but more realistic. What you don't want to be doing is so it's in some ways it's kind of like doodling, but it's not. Because sometimes when people doodle, it's like, oh, I'm going to draw a flower, then they draw a flower. Oh, I'm going to draw a cat, then they draw a cat. We're not going to be structuring it, but we're going to be using the exploratory aspect of how to get to this place easily. Now you can use a crayon in one hand, you can use it in the other hand, you can use both together. This is really, you have carte blanche here. So I want you to just kind of jump off the cliff and see what's different here. Because in some way, when you're doing the scribbling and the circles and lines, there is that improvisational aspect, because I say, allow the system to do this. But this is a little deeper. And what I'm wanting you to do is get this synthesizing process happening in your system so that you immediately know when you're coming from the subconscious mind or the reactive mind. You immediately know, how to get over into the conscious mind, because that's where we want to live, is with as high a percentage every single day of our life. So I want you to close your eyes. And once again, you can use any hand you want. And I want you to just look for the rhythm, look for the music that arises when you are moving your crayon or whatever, when you're moving things. Because we're in search of and wanting to claim our authentic self. Why? Because that's our soul. When you feel like you have a sense of it, you can just look up, wave your hand, something, and I will continue. Okay, so I've mentioned this gentleman many times because I think he's brilliant. Dr. Gabor Mate has said that the trauma, when we talk about childhood trauma or we talk about adulthood trauma, it's not the situation that's the trauma. The trauma is what you have to do inside of yourself in order to survive the difficult situation. And then in another presentation, he said, what I'm talking about is that the trauma is that in order to survive this difficult situation, you have to split from your soul. So what we're really talking about here with using the I Create What I Believe activities is reconnecting with our soul and learning how to move forward with that. And in that, we end up dissipating the fear and the anxiety, whoopsie, the fear and the anxiety, that is held in the subconscious mind. We don't have to move forward with this, we don't. Because these two parts of our mind, the subconscious and the conscious, work in an either or capacity. So just knowing how to get yourself to what I refer to as the delicious place, which is the conscious mind. And why do I call it the delicious? Because when you activate the conscious mind, your brain automatically starts dumping oxytocin and dopamine into your system. And you just feel wonderful. Everything, problems disappear. I mean, there'll still be the challenge. You'll still have something, but it won't be taking you out at the knees. It won't be making you feel like it's never going to change. You're not going to be hopeless. You're not going to be, depressed. You're going to have that chemical going into your system saying, yes, move forward with this part of you and ignore the other. And anytime you activate your conscious mind, be it scribbling or filling in scribbling drawings that you've done with color, anything that gets you there is perfect, because the more time in, the less time you're in the other, and the balance starts changing. Your life literally changes in front of you, not because you're doing some Herculean thing, but because you have managed to figure out how to be who you really are. And that is your gift to the world. It's real easy to diminish ourselves. Society and the stress of the planet, just totally reinforces negativity. But if you can find a way to connect with that inner part of yourself and stay there for a period of time, then your life changes just because of the magnetic force that happens. I was saying with Hans Jenny's research. The nature, this pattern, which I found on the bottom of a pine cone, was the result of a frequency. And when that frequency changed, the pattern changed. So one day I was out with my dog and I discovered this pine cone and fell in love with it. And then I started picking up all the similar ones, and they were all different. There was a little bit, there was a similarity, but then there was, a diversion from that. And so we are all similar. We all have a diversion. And in our heart of hearts, we know who we are. We know we're good, and we know we have a purpose. And it's not a big deal. I had a girlfriend many, many years ago, and her phrase always was, you just, we all put our pants on one leg at a time. Don't get too excited. Don't think you're better than, we're all ordinary. But in that ordinary is that slight change, deviation that is you. Questions so far?
Hmm.
You have any questions on how to integrate this into your day? Or is there a place that you feel like, you could use some assistance in terms of integrating it more into your day? We are the peacemakers. And world peace happens, in my mind, one person at a time. One event at a time. And how you know you're on course is that it takes less effort from you to do more. You're not working against yourself. You are just learning to be comfortable with the person you were taught not to be comfortable with when you were young. And this is, a very universal thing. But we can feel it. We can feel and sense these things, just like our dogs and our cats and young children, that we can sense it when we're there, and we love that feeling. And so just do it more. Questions?
Practice.
Huh?
Yeah.
Practice.
Practice. Well, yeah, it is. It's practice. And one of the things I try to do for myself and encourage other people is, at the end of the day, when you're brushing your teeth, that's usually like the last thing we do before we go to bed, is think about your day and think about what is the proportion of time that you spend in your conscious mind. There's going to be a direct correlation between the percentage of time that you spent there and how good you feel at the end of the day. So, the average person, the statistics say, only spends 5% of their day in the conscious mind. But these activities give you an opportunity to increase that radically without talking about it, just by practicing, just by exploring. And your dog is just wanting to add its 2 cents. So
It's just gonna mute myself.
yeah. So anything else, Stephanie?
So the improv is really just doing more.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
It's really is taking what you learned with just the scribbling
Yeah.
taking what you learned from the circles and the lines, and even taking what you learned from the labyrinth, and finding a way that they all work together for you.
All right, yeah, that's good for all work together.
They all work together, and there is a point, because in the labyrinth you have the circle or the straight line labyrinth. You have and the circles and the scribbling is just helping you get a sense of the rhythm of that's going on inside of you, and then the circles and lines helps you become more specific, really aware of, is it a little circle, is it a big circle? And know that everything you observe here has an equation in your life. I'll give you a really quick story that I was teaching a bunch of preschool teachers, and we got to the circles and lines of just saying, what works for you. And this one teacher showed her paper, and it was all these little tiny circles. I mean, it was just like circle, 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 circle. And when all the other teachers saw that, they all burst into laughter. And I said, so what's the joke, guys? And they said, they said, have her open up the bottom drawer of her desk and show you what's there. And what was there was bubble wrap, the little tiny circles. And that, when she was stressed, she would take out a sheet of bubble wrap and she would pop all the bubbles. And, and that, that was consistent with what she had uncovered with her scribbling.
Yeah.
And, it's through that exploring that you uncover what might seem like nonsense, but is actually key to being who you are. And there is no greater feeling, I think, than being and knowing who you are. You don't have to, nobody else has to know. You just are happy with it.
Yeah.
And when you're happy with it, you end up passing that on to everybody you meet.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
So anything else, Pam? I guess your dog finished telling us its 2 cents.
Right. No, it's just to hear your wisdom and sharing again, since I haven't done it in a while. It's good to be back.
It's very good to be back. Very good to be back. And I reminding you that I haven't been completely efficient about it, but if you go onto the website, there are videos of some of the previous classes, so
Okay.
that's always a way, because we only do this every other week, or the first and the third Monday of the month. So if you need a hit, in between, just go to the website and, find there might be one video that really speaks to you, and maybe more, but it's find what works for you. That's what didn't happen for us when we were young. We had to fit into somebody else's mold. We had to become, a square peg in a round hole, or a round peg in a square. I mean, we had to do that to survive. But it also gave us an understanding of universal pain. And now we are equipped to reverse some of that, reverse it in ourselves and every single person we meet, which I think is pretty darn cool.
Yeah. It sure is.
Okay,
Absolutely.
and next time we meet, if you want to bring any of the drawings or art that comes out of your exploration, if you want to share that, make sure that you have it ready and let me know at the beginning, and we'll do a sharing, because I think that that's really, really wonderful, to really see, how other people are taking this. That we're
Yeah,
gonna duplicate it, but we're going to, really uncover more of ourselves.
yes.
Good.
Yeah,
I will see you at the next class. And I think it's, no, it's not on the 27th. It's the one after that. Anyway, you'll see the calendar, sign up. I will see you then. And
yes.
in the meantime, just enjoy being yourself.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Nancy.
You're
Thank you.
very, very welcome.
See you
Bye-bye.
next time.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Bye, Stephanie. Bye, Pam.
Bye.
Bye, Nancy.
Bye-bye.
Mhm.